Welcome to the Kindness Chronicles, where once again we hope to inject the world with a dose of the Minnesota kindness that it desperately needs. We are back in the basement studio. Michael Dempsey's joining us again. Are you wearing the same thing you wore? No, sorry.
No,
and we got Steve Brown with us. Hello, Steve.
Hi.
Jeff is back there. KG's still on assignment. And we have a very special guest with us, another author, Author's Corner. We should have some Author's Corner music.
We should have a
Could you work on that, Jeff?
Yes.
Author's Corner.
Yes, today
Introduce our guest.
Yeah, we have a guest named Denise Cesare. Today's guest is someone who truly embodies the power of resilience, faith, and unwavering human spirit. Denise Cesare is a published author and a social-emotional learning specialist who serves schools, organizations, and communities through mindfulness, education, and kindness initiatives, which fits us perfectly, John. After losing her voice in 2006 due to a spasmodic dysphonia, there we go. Following a major car accident, Denise faced what could have been a life-altering defeat. But through treatment, faith, and perseverance, she regained her voice. Today, she uses that voice to inspire others. Denise has been recognized by the Ryan Seacrest Foundation and Dysphonia International for her impact on children and individuals with disabilities. She is the author of Moments in Motion with Love, a book connecting children and adults alike to nature, emotional intelligence, and the powerful reminder that every life matters.
Jesus.
Denise Cesare, welcome to the Kindness Chronicles. Sorry, it's a big intro.
Yay.
Welcome. Early life or every life.
That was a mouthful, right?
Yeah.
All this.
Sorry.
That's a mouthful. It's funny because I'm a speech language pathologist first.
Yeah.
And,
So wait a second.
Yeah,
You're a speech language pathologist. Were you that before you had the accident?
yes.
Oh, my
Wow.
gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. And I did not have a voice for 5 years.
What?
Yeah.
Wild.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Amazing. So I take us back to how is it that you decided? So the organization that I work for, we have a free speech and language disorder clinic up in Duluth, Minnesota, and we provide as much as 2 years of free services. We've got 9 SLPs that work there, and just the importance of helping young people find their voice. And you know how it is when it comes to speech and language disorders in the eyes of insurance companies. Insurance companies will say, we'll cover you for 6 to 8 sessions. And 6 to 8 sessions isn't even going to scratch the surface. So we have children that come, 2-3 times a week for up to 2 years. And just what an important, how did you decide to get into that line of work?
What's so amazing, who would have known we would have had this, connection in that way? So what made me choose that a long time ago, before I even lost my voice, losing my voice, and I still don't have a voice, just in case we want to back that up. I go for injections to speak.
Wow.
So I still really don't have a voice, but I do. I call it the different phases of Denise's voice. Right now it's in this breathy phase where it's going away, but that's okay. You can't stop me. So anyway, way back when, what made me decide to be a speech language pathologist was, I always love education, but really when I decided, I knew it was a different path. It was helping people kind of connect dots and kind of find themselves. So this was even way before I lost my voice. So it was just something that I thought the classroom was great, but this was one step different. It was more clinical. It was more science. And I wasn't at school, but it was very different.
Where did you grow up, Denise?
Oh, okay. So you could tell, can't you?
Well, you're not from Minnesota.
So originally I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
No, seriously?
Is that or Sioux Falls, one of those places?
No kidding. Look at what my hands are telling you, right? So then I moved to Staten Island, where I raised my son and my husband. But right now I moved 9 months ago to Hilton Head Bluffton, South Carolina.
Oh,
very beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's a great time.
Beautiful. When you were Denise, when you were growing up in Brooklyn, was there an influence in your life or an experience that you had that pointed you in the direction of your profession?
Um, yeah, there was a number of mentors. As you know, I didn't go to college right away. So for all the listeners out there, your path can change. So don't ever give up. So that's all I'm all about. So I went to work and I thought who I was, like, at 18 and 19, working and making money, but that wasn't my path. I came across someone who said to me, I think you need to look into this. And that mentor made me look into speech and language pathology.
Well, the irony of the fact that an accident took, of all things, away your voice for SLP. Tell us, are you okay talking about the accident that you had? Share with us what happened.
So, of course, it was 2006. So that's 20 years ago, May 6th, 2006. We were in a car accident that only, thank goodness, we weren't really injured, but the seatbelt across my neck, I kind of was the one who took the brunt of the car accident. But it just, and my voice, that didn't go away right away. And also being a speech language pathologist, I knew a lot. So at first I would go to doctors and they said, oh, you have asthma. I said, yeah, no kidding. You have acid reflux. Okay, no, that's not what this is. And long story short, November 30th, I finally diagnosed myself, but then I found a doctor that, ultimately wasn't really in favor of me continuing to work. Thank goodness I didn't listen to him. So that's something to say here today, that don't, people you might think they're on your side sometimes, but you have to be kind to yourself. So kindness goes in all different directions, right? Yourself, each other. So yeah, so 5 years then I had no voice. So 2006 to 2011. And knowing the science behind learning all about this, I wasn't so quick to do the Botox injections.
So take us to the once you did realize that you weren't going to get your voice back, even though you are this is what you do. How did you deal with that? How did you cope with it?
So of course I had a 6-year-old. So mom powers supersede. I don't know where super women, right? Moms just do what they have to do. But also having to be able to go to school every day and work with my children, I had to recognize that I actually have a disability. I had to make terms with that I have a disability. And then I had to fight for myself. Like I fought for my students. I had to have accommodations. I had to have different ways to go about working with the students that I served. But it really made me in tune with them even more than ever, because we were both on the same level now. I have a disability, they had a disability, and it was very eye-opening.
I would imagine. So tell us a little bit about, so do you work in a school system right now?
No, well, I used to work in New York City, and then recently I just moved here. So I'm doing different things with the book. I have programs that I created with the book. And I do have another new book that came out too. You see right there, I Love You More Than Chocolate. It's coming out soon. It's a sweet journey. But as an educator, there's education always infused in my book with love and kindness.
Tell us about Moments in Motion with Love.
Okay, so we'll fast forward to how everything is a full circle. Was Moments in Motion with Love came out during COVID. And in New York City, we were locked down and we had to do everything virtual. They shut us down. Speech and language pathologists had to be live with sessions. You were just talking about sessions. We had to be live online with the students before any teachers, it wasn't their fault, but they weren't on, but we had to. Anyway, we did it because that's how we are. It was like trying to build a plane. Just throw the parts up in the air and do it. Anyway, but the real thing, March, April, by May, I could see the disconnect in my students' eyes. And I still, till today, the book is in motion for 5 years already. I can see the disconnect. They have a disability. These are students that really need to be with others. They can't be in isolation like that and should really figure it out. So one night I went to sleep and I really prayed, give me something to help my students. And I actually woke up with this book.
Oh, wow. It's amazing.
So tell us about the book, how it works, how you use that in your process.
Okay, so the book, Moments in Motion with Love, it's really a mindful journey that you go through nature. So it's all about mind, body, and spirit. But you go through the book, like one of the first things is butterfly moments. There's a butterfly on your shoulder. Feel it. So it kind of takes you through this relaxing
Sensory,
movements. It's really unbelievable. If you don't have the book, I'll get you guys one. But it's so amazing that it came to me. So that's first. So then, it's COVID, we're all locked down. I wake up and I go to my husband, I'm like, wake up, I wrote a book. He's like, now what are you doing? What's going on?
Wake up, I wrote a book.
What are you doing now? What do you mean? I said, just listen, just listen to me. And then I read it because I typed it into my phone, and then he goes, say that again. And I read it to him, and he was like, wow. And then I have a publisher, but at the time, because of all of the things that I was going through with my voice, I thought I wanted to write a prescriptive adult narrative for self-help.
Mm-hmm.
But this is it. This is for everybody, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I texted her, I woke him up at 5 o'clock. I texted her at 7. She goes, what? And then I read it to her, and she's like, yes. But the person that really, and we'll talk about him, the person that really solidified that it should happen, my son was in lockdown in college because college students, they all had to stay there in the dorms or whatever. And we did a FaceTime, and I read it to him, and he cried. It released something happened.
Yeah.
And he wasn't like, he just organically, tears just flowed because something released.
Well, okay. I believe that maybe part of that happened because he's your son. He knows how you think, and you tapped into something. How do other kids? How did it? I know I saw reviews. Reviews are beautiful. You obviously you've tapped into something great. How did just kids out that you're working with? How did they take it?
So I could tell you so many stories that make this book. And like I said, it was given to me. I believe it was given to me because I woke up. I woke up with it. And so it took on a life of its own. And some programs that I did, what I love about it, and I may do it with you guys too before we end, I go to different schools, and I went to a group of cheerleaders. I'm going to tell you this story because they were older, because people think, oh, is this a children's book?
Yeah.
This is a book to heal your inner child. Because we are all children at heart, and if we tap into that, that's where the kindness comes from. If we want to talk about kindness, your kindness starts, it gets jaded as you grow, but if you tap into your heart center, that kindness will never go away. So I was with the cheerleaders, and I was a cheerleader.
Hard to tell.
My husband was a football player in high school. I didn't know him then, but I was a cheerleader. And I meeting with the cheerleaders, what I wanted to tell them, what I wanted to bring forth to them is that kindness moments matter. You may, you're with a group, we all cannot be friends because that's unnatural. Not everybody has the same likes. We have different things that happen.
Yeah.
But what I wanted them to understand, that if someone is talking about the other girl over there, you could say, oh, I don't need to talk about her. We're not friends. Don't worry, and move on. You don't have to jump on that bandwagon of sorts of talking about someone or bullying them. Just move on. Just say, she's not my friend. She's another human. Just let's move on. So that was my talk with them. And then I read the book. But before I read the book, so they're ready to go do their workout. So did they really want me there? Probably not. But I read the book, and I said, please do me a favor while you're there, while you're listening to me. I want you to think of a page that really moves you. Now, did I think they were going to answer me? Probably not. But anyway, I went with it anyway. So I read the book, and there's a page in the book that says, feel the sunshine on your face, sunshine moments. One girl raised her hand and said to me, she said, I have to tell you, that was my favorite page because when the sun is on my face, I feel so beautiful.
Oh.
So just that one little thing that she said, and then everybody started telling me different things. Oh, I love butterfly. So then it just became a whole thing. There's another thing I could tell you about the book. I went to a high school assembly, and when I spoke to them, they all had a free time to come in. So, they were just going to come in, headphones on, heads down. Once I got through with them, they were looking at me, heads up, and they told me, asking me about my voice and asking me about different things. And I went back to do my programs because I have Mind, Body, and Spirit. What generated from this book is a yoga motions. Every page comes alive with the movements. So when I went into the programs, one boy that I met in the auditorium for the assembly, the next time when we did all the things before he left, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do this with you now. I have a poem. So in this book, I affirm the reader. I tell you how important you are. I tell you that you're loved. But if you don't believe it, it doesn't matter. So I have a bookmark, and inside the book is the Believe poem about me telling you. But then you have to say it yourself. Okay, you ready to do it with me?
Let's go.
Believe. Do it. Believe.
Oh, we say believe. Believe, yeah.
I am loved.
I am loved.
John.
I am light.
I am light.
I am courage.
I am courage.
I am bright.
I am bright.
I am brave.
I
am brave.
I am so important in this moment.
I am so important in this moment.
And you are. And what the young man came to me after I did all of this, he came over to me and said, "No, you are so important."
Oh,
that's kind.
And then that shows you how what I gave to him came back to me, and that's the reality of what kindness is.
I have to say the fact that you brought up the fact during this assembly that you were speaking at, instead of looking down at their phones and not paying attention, there is something about that Brooklyn, Staten Island accent. I'm not kidding. That like compels you to listen to what you have to say.
Yep.
Honest to God, I was thinking that before you even
Is that
mentioned
because
that.
we're from Minnesota?
Well,
or-
and I just wonder. I mean this sincerely.
There's a conviction that
if
comes through.
There is a conviction there, and I just think
authority.
that. Yeah, like I feel like I might be afraid not to listen to
Oh my goodness, you guys are funny. No, I think it's just my teacher. It's my teacher thing, and I think maybe
so.
It's Brooklyn Center.
you. I think Brooklyn has a lot to do with it.
It's authority there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
So how long have you been in South Carolina?
9 months.
Okay.
The other day, 9 months.
So you haven't quite established that South Carolina angle to your Brooklyn
The
accent.
drawl, the casual drawl.
Y'all, I'm trying, but I don't think it'll ever leave me. Brooklyn.
Hey.
It's very tough.
Denise, you're Brooklyn, Staten Island, you're around New York, and then you relocate to Hilton Head. Do you have a story of kindness that emerged through that move? Because you're a Yankee down there. I mean, it's got to be, and you can't hide it.
Sore thumb, yeah.
You can't hide it. Yeah, so.
No, exactly. Well, they are, I have to tell you, they are so polite here and so kind. But when I first moved here, I happened to be able to go to Barnes and Noble in Savannah, Georgia, because I'm right by Savannah. I could get there in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And I did a book signing. And I don't know. Sometimes these things happen just, it's like magical. And it's not me. It's just what's supposed to be happening. And this young man with his son walks by. And when you're in Barnes and Noble and you're not known, so I'm not a celebrity, right? So you don't know me. I'm sitting there. No, I gotta figure out a way how to get people to come over to me.
You just ask
Just
them.
start talking.
Yeah, get over here.
Hey.
How do I do that, right? So some of them I'll say something to. I'll go, I have something for you. I'll give them a bookmark. Come and say it with me. And then they kind of get interested. But of course, they're walking through a mall to go to Barnes and Noble, right? They're busy. They're on a mission. They're shopping. What do they want to do with me? But this young man turned around and he looked at the title and he said, "Moments in Motion with Love." And then I said, "Yes, how are you?" And then he told me his story. They had a traumatic brain injury and that every moment matters. And I don't even know what I wanted to say, but I said, "You are amazing. You need this book." And then his stepson was there, and he was giving me advice on my new book, the young man. But it was just such Southern hospitality. It doesn't matter, they just like me.
Great
That's a great
connection.
story.
What's not to like?
Yeah.
One of the exercises I think you've taken some kids through that piqued my attention was helping build a playlist on their iPhones, and music.
Cool.
I know is a big part of your book based on the interview I listened to. Do you you've got a couple of musicians here, Steve being one of them, but I'll let you talk a little about that.
Oh, yeah. So that's one of my, the book, like I said, the book took on a life of its own. So it's the mindfulness, having like the quotes, like the belief poem, the yoga movements, and then the music, the playlist. And, a lot of students, they love it. Of course, they love music, and they already had a playlist. But I brought it one step further, where I wanted them to find a song that either makes you feel joyful or find a song that makes you feel sad. But I take it deeper, because I want them to really, if a song, like if they love it, I said, okay, but now let's look at the words. Why do you love it? Let's really take that component, because the story behind the song is someone's journal writing, and you can learn a lot from that.
Very interesting.
Well, I have one sort of topic I want to see, or just a way to maybe close this out. I want to know from you.
Well, I'm not ready
Denise.
to close it out. I
Well,
got some more questions.
Okay, well, I'll just lead this into a question. Denise, you work with kids a lot, different ranges of kids, ages and stuff. As a hopeful concept, we are the Kindness Chronicles. We love to hear some hopeful angles on the future. What do you see when you talk to so many kids? You're you're connecting on a really good level with them with regards to kindness and the youth of our world. What is your thought on that? What is your take on that? And are we to be hopeful? Are we in trouble? Are we doing all right?
I think that we need hope is the key. If we're not hopeful, I wouldn't have got through not having a voice if I didn't have hope, looking for the glimmer of light. If I didn't look for something every day, because there were times it was dark. I'm not going to tell you it was all like, sweetness and chocolate. That wasn't going on. There were days where I actually had to get up and physically smile at myself to get through the day. So you have to have hope. You have to have a glimmer of light to see to the next hopefulness. And our children are resilient, but we have to give them the tools to love themselves. We have to help them see that they are, and give them the tools to know what self-love is.
Denise, one of the things that we promote on the podcast is this concept of chasing oxytocin being that happiness hormone. And we encourage people to, especially on Sundays, to exercise what we call Oxytocin Day, where you watch videos on YouTube and stuff that bring you up. And two of my favorites are when little kids hear for the first time and you get to watch that reaction, or when little kids get little glasses put on their eyes and they can see clearly for the first time.
Immediate oxytocin.
Immediate
rush.
oxytocin. Yeah. I would imagine that in your profession, you have had experiences where children have overcome their challenges with speech and language issues. Tell us a story that comes to mind immediately that would give us that dose of oxytocin that we're looking for.
Yeah. So that smiling is a known fact.
Universal.
When you smile, it does create that. But I'm going to tell you the quickest story. But during COVID, then we finally went back to the school, right? And we had to wear the mask. And I was just on a journey. Soon I was going to be leaving the school because I was moving on. But what happened was I would be in the hallway because we had to greet the kids because it was such chaos. So we just in the hallway with the masks on and just trying to say good morning, have a great day. There was one student that was not my student, but was in the class of students that I used to take children out for the session. And every day she would look right over my head. She was very tall. I'm not tall, I'm short, but she'd look right over me. And I'd say, good morning, how are you? Every day. And then finally the masks came off and I could smile at her. And then I'd give her this big smile, still look over my head. long story, I do it every day. I wasn't giving up. When I was finally done and I was retiring from that school, I went into that classroom and we all broke down and cried because, you know, they were my students. I read the poem to them because the book had come out. And she stood up and she didn't speak. So she was like nonverbal, right? She spoke stuff. I'm going to cry now. Now you guys are making me cry. Oh. I stood up. She stood up and said, Ms. Cesare, I love you so much.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Oh, my God. Thank you for smiling at me every day.
Wow.
I'm going to throw something. Yeah.
So
that's
that.
This is a while ago now that has happened, but every time I say that story, because kindness moments matter, I kept doing it. It was repetitive. I wouldn't give up on her, and I kept just, hi, how are you? Good morning. Over my head. It didn't matter. Hi, how are you?
You were getting through.
Yeah.
So cool.
I broke through. Yeah.
Mic drop.
But can I tell you guys something? Sometimes we're not fortunate enough to get that feedback that I got, but I want people to know, keep doing it because the feedback really is there, even if you don't get it back.
Absolutely. Cool. So you have another book over here. Yeah, get it together, Denise. Come on, get it together.
Come on now.
Come on. Okay. You're from Brooklyn, for God's
story.
sake.
It's a great story.
So, over your shoulder, I see your book, Love You More Than Chocolate. Tell us, what's that story about?
Okay, so now, you know, as an educator, I never, you know, teachers love books, but do they ever think they're going to be an author? Not really. But when my son was born 26 years ago, I don't know why it came over me. I said, oh, and I love chocolate. I said, oh, I love you more than chocolate. I don't know why I said that. And it kind of, I said, oh, that sounds like a title of a book, but that was 26 years ago. So I thought nothing of it, right? I did tell one of my good closer friends, she goes, oh, that's a great title.
That is.
So fast forward to now that I am a published author, I said, oh, I think I have to pull this out of the archive of my mind and bring it to life because it is such a sweet journey. Every month, if you look, if you really see this up close.
Yeah, we can see it.
I made this cutout card. The guy told me he was hungry after producing it in Staples. He goes, it made me so hungry. Anyway, so that's myself and my son.
Oh, cool.
The cute little characters.
Cute.
But it's not so much about him and I. It's a journey through every month because, you know, my students, we talked about speech and language. They need things to have remembering, memory, and different things like that. And this book takes you. I used to remember my students would think the beginning of the year was September. I'm like, kids, no. Let's go back. Let's know the months of the year, the days of the week. Let's know when they start. And so this book brings you on a sweet journey through every month, and then it can go back to remembering and recall and all of that. So, and then in the back of the book, because we talk about it, we have a monthly calendar with all the national holidays of chocolate, and the last page is sweet music.
Beautiful.
If you were in the studio, we'd give you 100-gram bar.
Yeah, that's right.
I love those. Oh my goodness, stop.
Yeah.
They're our favorite.
Those used to be my favorite.
Denise, thank you so much for joining us. Denise Cesare, the book is called Moments in Motion with Love, the book that's out right now. Find her. Her name is Denise Cesare. What a great guest. We really appreciate you being on the show with us. Have a great, best of luck with the book.
Thanks so much, Denise.
Thanks,
Very
Denise.
inspiring.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you. Off we go.